Have you ever wondered why, when striving for distance, a narcissistic personality seems to possess the ability to penetrate your thoughts, holding you in an endless cycle of control and manipulation from which there seems to be no escape? Imagine the possibility of changing the rules of the game. What if there were a way not only to deeply understand the narcissist, but also, using subtle psychological strategies developed by Carl Jung himself, one of the most outstanding minds in the history of psychology, to turn the situation in your favor? In the following exploration, 5 powerful strategies based on Jung's theories will be presented, which can help restore control in relationships with a narcissist, whether in the family circle or among friends. We will explore how Jung's ideas provide effective tools for managing communication dynamics with these complex personalities. This is not magic, but applied psychology, adapted to real-life situations. Interacting with a narcissist can be one of the most difficult challenges one faces. These individuals are true masters of manipulation, distortion of truth, and inducing guilt, leading to emotional exhaustion. Recognizing the true motives hidden behind the actions of manipulators allows one to effectively resist their influence and regain control over the situation. Moreover, one can turn their own methods against them, using their weaknesses to one's advantage, but doing so deliberately and calculatedly. Before getting to the heart of the matter, it's worth noting that for those seeking a deeper understanding of psychology, manipulation mechanisms, and the intricacies of interpersonal relationships, it is recommended to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so as not to miss new informative content. Also, don't forget to mark videos with likes, thereby supporting the author in creating even more useful materials. Narcissism, as is well known, is a personality disorder characterized by an excessively inflated sense of self-importance, an insatiable craving for admiration, and a complete lack of empathy towards others. Narcissistic personalities often resort to manipulation and seek to dominate others, causing them to feel inferior and emotionally dependent. Understanding the power dynamics in relationships with a narcissist is crucial for understanding their modus operandi. Carl Jung, an outstanding psychologist who made invaluable contributions to the study of the human psyche, believed that the mind is not simply a collection of conscious thoughts, but an entire universe of archetypes, shadow sides, and other elements that influence our behavior, often unconsciously. Jung introduced the concept of the collective unconscious, implying the existence of behavioral patterns and images common to all humanity. In the context of narcissism, this approach allows one to see behind the ostentatious egocentrism, a complex internal struggle that the person desperately tries to hide from others. A legitimate question arises about the connection between this and manipulating the narcissist's consciousness, and the answer here is simple. Understanding Jungian psychology opens access to understanding the vulnerabilities of the narcissistic personality, which can be used for one's own purposes. Jung taught that every person carries hidden aspects of their personality, the so-called shadow. It is this shadow, filled with insecurity and suppressed fears, that the narcissist seeks to hide from prying eyes. Deep down, behind the mask of greatness, lies an individual tormented by the fear of not being good enough. And it is here that the first tool of manipulation comes into play, a deep understanding of the narcissist's shadow. The shadow, according to Jung, is that part of the psyche that contains aspects of personality that a person prefers to hide or deny. In the case of a narcissist, this shadow is filled with insecurity, emotional fragility, and a deep fear of rejection and a feeling of one's own inadequacy. A narcissistic personality, striving to maintain the appearance of perfection, tirelessly tries to hide its inner shadow. Recognizing this shadow side can become the key to destabilizing the narcissist. One of the effective methods of influencing a narcissist is confronting them with their deepest fears, namely, with the awareness of their own flaws. Imagine a situation. Instead of a stormy reaction with anger or disappointment to provocations, you demonstrate complete indifference and, more importantly, force them to face their own vulnerability. Such a collision can deal a crushing blow to their ego, plunging them into the abyss of their own experiences. If you manage to show the narcissist that they have fallen into the trap of their own mind, the manipulation will begin to bear fruit. The next stage involves understanding the concept of archetypes developed by Jung. Archetypes are universal patterns of behavior, images, and symbols rooted in the collective unconscious. They exert an invisible influence on our actions and reactions. Upon closer examination of a narcissist's personality, it becomes evident that their behavior fits within certain archetypes, whether it's the image of a hero striving for feats or a victim seeking sympathy. These archetypes are powerful constructs reflecting the narcissist's self-perception and the desired image they seek to project to the world. Identifying the dominant archetype in a narcissist's mind opens opportunities to influence their self-perception. For example, if a narcissist positions themselves as a king, they require continuous recognition and praise to maintain their sense of self-importance. In this case, their need for adoration can be used to undermine their confidence. Strategically ceasing flattery and persistently suggesting their inadequacy to their idealized king image can create emotional instability, proving to be a highly effective method. However, understanding the shadow aspects of the personality and the narcissist's archetypes is only part of the strategy. It's also necessary to consider the concept of the collective unconscious introduced by Jung. This concept refers to the repository of symbols, myths, and shared human experiences that subconsciously influence each of us. By understanding how a narcissist reacts to these universal symbols and images, they can be used to powerfully influence their behavior and beliefs. As a lever of influence on a narcissistic personality, you can use a symbol of high status or prestige, an object of particular value in their eyes. By convincing the narcissist that the loss of this attribute will irreparably damage their reputation, you can skillfully manipulate them, prompting them to act in the desired direction. The power of ignoring should not be underestimated either. A narcissist craves universal attention, and any expression of indifference can be a crushing blow to them. When they try to provoke an emotional response by resorting to criticism or attacks, the best strategy is complete indifference. By demonstrating disregard, you deprive them of power over you. You thereby disrupt their usual dynamics and maintain control over the situation. Finally, another effective method is to manipulate the narcissist's expectations. They are always driven by a belief in their own superiority and a belief that others should submit to their will. By fueling their exaggerated ideas of how things should be and how they should be, you can provoke frustration and loss of self-control in them. Such a game with anticipations creates a distorted reality for them, over which they lose power, which inevitably leads to a violent emotional reaction. Ultimately, this deprives them of peace of mind and gives you the opportunity to regain control of the situation. These 5 steps, understanding the dark side of the personality, skillfully using archetypal images, interacting with the collective unconscious, demonstrating cold-blooded indifference, and skillfully manipulating expectations, are a powerful arsenal when interacting with a narcissistic personality. However, it is worth remembering that this is more of an art than an exact science, and like any potent tool requires prudent and intelligent application. If you found these strategies helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Let's continue our fascinating journey into the world of human psychology together to learn how to effectively interact with complex people while maintaining clarity of mind and control over the situation.